Hi guys, welcome back to my Halloween movie reviews, and today I'm going to be reviewing Halloween 3 Season of the Witch from 1982, and it's directed by Tommy Lee Wallace and it stars Tom Atkins. Now personally I think that Tommy Lee Wallace is a very underrated director. He directed Fright Night Part 2, which was a great underrated sequel to Fright Night, and he also directed the TV miniseries from It from 1990, and again that's very underrated these days as well. It's known as a cheesy movie, and it's the same with Halloween Season of the Witch. It is a cheesy movie to most people, but when you watch this movie today, I think it's directed pretty well by Tommy Lee Wallace. The directing style and the cinematography for this movie is one of the best in the series. I'm not saying it's one of the best movies in the series, but cinematography wise and directing style, I would say that Halloween 3 Season of the Witch is one of the better ones in the franchise for those categories. Now, as most people know, this is the one and only movie that doesn't feature Michael Myers, so it takes a lot of people out of their comfort zone straight away because they get into this movie watching it knowing that Michael Myers isn't in it. I watched this movie pretty young, and I was told by a couple of my friends that this Halloween 3 doesn't have Michael Myers in it, and because it was so far-fetched, I thought to myself, they're lying to me, I don't believe them. So I watched it for myself, and I always remember watching it hoping I was going to see Michael Myers, but within 20 minutes I found out that Michael Myers wasn't going to be in it, because we do find out that this movie takes place in our world, and that movie sees John Carpenter's movie as a movie inside that movie, because obviously we see Tom Atkins' character watching Halloween twice in this movie. Basically the story for this movie is about a doctor called Daniel and a girl called Ellie who are investigating the death or the murder of her father at the hospital, and they end up in this small town of Santa Mira, which was also the setting for the movie Invasion of the Body Snatchers from 1956, and they look around this town for clues and answers as to why he was killed. But when they do that, they also uncover that this toy manufacturer, mask manufacturer for Silver Shamrock is going to be killing all the kids around Halloween with the Halloween Silver Shamrock masks. Now if you're reading that story or listening to my review and not seen the movie yet and you're thinking, wow, this is completely different to Michael Myers, yes indeed it is, and it's not supposed to be similar to Michael Myers. It's an anthology movie, or it's supposed to be an anthology movie that they were going to bring out every year, but unfortunately the box office didn't really scream for a sequel or any more anthology movies, so straight after that they scrapped the anthology's idea and they just went straight back to the Michael Myers idea. But they had to wait a few years. It was 6 years they had to wait for another sequel because they were trying to figure out what they were going to do with the Michael Myers character. One thing I think they missed in this film was the fact that, like I said, John Carpenter's Halloween was just a movie in this movie, and you see the kids going around town lifting up all their Silver Shamrock masks in all the Halloween stores, and there was other masks there that weren't Silver Shamrock masks, but none of them were Michael Myers masks. And you think that a movie that was so big, apparently it's a big movie in this movie, that they would have Michael Myers masks. So that's just one little thing that kind of annoyed me. Now there are certain elements to this film that looks like they tried to copy from Halloween 1 and 2. I did mention the cinematography and the directing style, which was great. I really liked that part of it. There's nothing wrong with that. But the henchmen that Cochran had all the way through the film, the robots that we find out, they were very like Michael Myers. I think that they wanted a Michael Myers style character in this film, but they didn't want to copy it completely. So to have henchmen that were as strong as Michael Myers and acted and walked like Michael Myers, it made sense for the Halloween saga, I would say. But that was a little annoying because I thought, well, it looks like they're just trying to copy a Michael Myers style character and just basically try and trick the fans into thinking that it's acceptable without Michael Myers. So I didn't really like that aspect, but it was quite interesting to watch it unfold because obviously we didn't know they were robots to begin with, and then we find out they're robots, and that's how we're like, oh, so that's why they're so strong. And it makes us think, are they going to try and do that with Michael Myers in Halloween 4? Nah, they won't. Other than the directing style and the cinematography, I think the score was really good. That reminded me of Halloween as well, Halloween 1 and 2. The score wasn't the best, but the score did feel like a John Carpenter style score, so I really like that. Also, we had Nancy Loomis in it, also known as Nancy Keys. She just had a brief cameo. Again, that had that kind of Halloween element to it. And most of you will know that Jamie Lee Curtis has a cameo in it too. She plays the operator's voice throughout the movie as well. Some of the story felt a little bit too convenient just to carry the story along throughout the movie. Things like Ellie and Daniel, they're going to investigate, what happened to her dad, and they aren't investigators, but they just happen to have the right ideas and the right places to go all the time. So I think that was a little too convenient, a little bit sloppy in the writing for the film, which again was written by Tommy Lee Wallace as well. But yeah, it was written in a convenient way, I would say. And with that convenient writing throughout the film, it also brought some cheesy lines. Lines like when Tom Atkins' character Daniel says to a group of 10 or so doctors and coroners, when he sees the body, who doesn't know is dead or not, he says, "Excuse me, I'm a doctor." And I think they're all turning, you know, if this is real life, you'd all be turning around and saying, "That's fine, I think the 10 doctors we've got here will do just nicely." So yeah, it was a bit cheesy in that way. And then when they were explaining to Ellie and Daniel what happened to the lady, they don't have to do that, they just tell them to go away in real life. So yeah, it was a little bit cheesy at times, but it adds to the fun of the movie, I would say, because the movie is fun overall. It wasn't back then, I will admit it, I hated this movie back then, but when you're watching it today, the charm of the early 80s horror movies, it gets to you, the nostalgia gets to you as well. So it is a good movie today, and it's become a cult classic. I think what adds to the atmosphere of this movie is where it's set, that little small town of Santa Mira. It just looks so enclosed and isolated, and I like the way that they showed it at daytime and at nighttime as well. A little bit misty at times as well. I just think it was a perfect setting for a Halloween movie that wasn't set in Haddonfield and also didn't feature Michael Myers. One thing I noticed when just watching this movie as well, that this is the only Halloween movie to have a child be killed in the Halloween franchise, and it didn't involve Michael Myers. Now, although I did mention Michael Myers and the Halloween 1 and 2 throughout this review, when I was watching Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, I didn't compare it to the first two Halloween movies while watching it. When I was watching it today, I was watching it as its own movie, as it should be, because it is an anthology movie. So I think, and I've said this time again, if you watch this movie as just Season of the Witch, I think you would enjoy it more. If you don't associate it with Halloween at all, then I think you would enjoy this movie more. Especially if you've never seen this film before, watch it as its own movie, and I think you'll get some rewards out of it. Yes, the film is cheesy and is dated at times, but it is a nostalgic filled film. The score is great, the acting's good, the directing style is great, the cinematography is great. So overall, I think it's a really enjoyable movie. Not one of the best Halloween movies in the franchise, but it's nowhere near the worst. So what do you think of this movie, guys? I know there's a lot of hate for it, and I think, in fact, I've spoken to a lot of die-hard Halloween fans who have this movie at the bottom of the list. I don't agree with them, but everyone has their opinions, so leave your opinions down below. Where does this rank in your Halloween franchise? Anyway guys, thanks a lot for watching again, thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.